Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share the day's astrology with you, with a little help from Tarot. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology post, which you can find on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, do a quick review of today's astrology, and then play another card that may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The tarot card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Three of Cups. Three of Cups relates astrologically to the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit in the land of Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. Cups are water in the tarot. Water element is about how we feel, what it's like to be in our bodies with our emotions and our thoughts and our internal reactions, right? It's a very emotional vibe. It can be a very intuitive vibe, you know, those things you think, feel, know, and intuit. And then also it has to do with our fertility, our fecundity in the world, our ability to create out of our bodies things that have value in the world. So the Three of Cups here represents kind of a community gathering, right? A gathering of friends, people who are very happy to see one another, people who know and trust and celebrate one another. These people appear to be maybe gathering fruit, and they are sharing a glass and a dance together. So it's a bit of a celebration, but it's not like an official celebration. It's just these three people sort of celebrating one another. Okay, so think about your cohort. Think about the group of wise people that you are a part of that that not only know where you've been, but who understand where you can go and who trust you and lift you up. Okay, so that's the Three of Cups. It's about friendship. It's about community. It's about happiness, gathering together with friends, making time and space for those that we like to keep around us. Okay, and sharing that loving unity and camaraderie with them. With all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards and remind myself that, and the cards, that the sun is in Cancer right now, and so is Mercury. So sun in Cancer, emotional time. Mercury in Cancer, emotional communication, emotional thoughts, plans, and communications. Defensive and protective, and also just very heartfelt. So also Mercury and Cancer are a little bit sideways we go a little bit sideways in the communication. We communicate a little less directly. We show people in different ways how we care for them rather than just saying the words out loud. Okay, sun in Cancer, that's all about initiating nurture, protection, initiating care for people. So we show people that we care, and it's not always just by saying, hey, I care. We show people we care in different ways by, making sure that, concerning ourselves with their well-being and making sure that, if there's something that they need that we can give them, we do that. On the moon side of the page, we are nearly to the first quarter moon, so we're almost halfway between that new moon and the full moon. Tomorrow will be the first quarter moon in Libra, so we're starting to seek that balance, right? That we're a little imbalanced today, but we're going to come into balance tomorrow. We'll have that half moon up in the sky, and it's a good time to be sort of getting on our toes and seeking our balance, because once the moon goes into the wax and give us phase, that's when we are in action, culminating those goals that we have set, that we fastidiously set out, those actionable goals, so that we could get things done. So here comes the time to get things done. Go ahead and roll up your plans and have them all ready to go. Moon side of the page today, moon went opposition to Neptune this morning, and because Neptune is retrograde, it's almost like the challenge or the conflict is not with a fantasy so much as it is sort of the repealing of a fantasy, right? The waking up to a harsh reality. So clarity on some things is really not always welcome, but it is better to know the truth. Moon goes trine to Pluto, and at this time, it's like, there are the emotions, the feelings. The feeling life is the moon. And then there's Pluto, which is more of the subconscious. It's what's beneath the feeling. It's the fear or the insecurity that produces the feeling, right? And with this trine perspective on things, though, it's almost like a blessing of positive functioning. So as those fears and insecurities arise, we can embrace them and look at them and understand them and give them the compassion that they need. I love that kind of vibe, especially since that's a void of course moon going into our void of course period, which is about 4 hours today. Great time to journal, meditate, reflect, get into your tarot practice or whatever intuitive or creative practice you like to do that helps you be quiet, still your mind and your heart, and have important conversations with yourself and with spirit. After that 4-hour void, of course, the moon will make ingress to Libra. Libra, we want to be fair and balanced in all of our relationships and connections. Libra is ruled by Venus, so it's very much about being well resourced, and about nurturing the connections that we have, in a balanced way. We want everything to pair out fairly for everybody involved. So that's the next 2.5 days in terms of our feeling life. There's going to be this sense of trying to bring things into balance. And then this evening at 8:20, moon goes square to Mercury. It's going to be hard to know how to say what you feel. Perhaps you don't want to say the truth about what you feel. Perhaps you wish you could say that you felt a different way. Perhaps you don't want to feel the way that you do, but you do. But that's difficult. Sometimes the feelings just don't connect to the speaking apparatus on the bod. So it's okay to take your time and work it out. Think about how you feel about something, especially if it's something that's intense, if it's, or if it's a big question or a discovery that we're not, totally pleased with, it can take some time, and it's okay to take time and step back and, decide how you want to express that. Say, let me sleep on it. On the sun side of the page, we have only ongoing aspects. Sun is square to Jupiter at this time through tomorrow. Sun square Jupiter has been an excellent good fortune aspect. When you get Sun and Jupiter together, it's like whatever you think on grows, whatever you turn your attention to, whatever you put your efforts into, whatever you struggle for, whatever you put your energy into is going to expand in positive ways for you. That's Jupiter. That's the good luck, the giver, okay, of the zodiac. That square aspect really just warns against, like getting an inflated ego if you suddenly happen upon a bunch of success, or worse yet, getting lazy and getting to a certain point of success and thinking, oh, I can just sit back and relax and this is going to roll forward now, okay? Because Jupiter only puts in when you put in, all right? So when Jupiter sees you actively pushing toward that bigger, better, expanded version of yourself, Jupiter is going to put in good fortune for you to get the ball rolling. But as soon as you rest on your laurels, Jupiter will take a break too. Neptune is retrograde through almost Christmas, just after winter solstice. And, Neptune in Pisces, this is a time when things can be really fantasy-like. We can lie to ourselves. We can, just be deceived or operating under false pretenses, whether we know it or not. And then Mercury goes retrograde in Pisces, and it says, okay, well, whatever fantasy you were living or whatever lie you were living in, it's going to become really transparent to you now. Okay, so at this time through December, be prepared for some perhaps even rude awakenings. All right, we are going through some pretty deep and intense changes, so we might just even find something out about ourselves that wasn't true this whole time, and we've got to make a change in our lives. Saturn is also retrograde and Pluto is also retrograde. So this is about, Saturn is in Aquarius, and it's asking us, what does it take for you to feel supported? And also, do the things that support you also support everybody else in your community? Is this something that that everyone could turn to, right? Because if not, especially in the community realm, if I'm leaning on supports that exist in my community, but they only exist for me or only exist for certain people that I fit in with, then they're not going to work for me very much longer. It's time to put those aside and find other ways to find that support. Hopefully in ways that support the other people in the community, all of them. Okay. Pluto and Mars are in a square right now, so this can be like a little bit of a power hungry behavior that can come across. Mars is active and Pluto is powerful, right? So we're using our power. We're probably pursuing something that we feel would give us more power and agency in our lives, and it's totally valid to pursue higher position, more pay, whatever, more recognition it is that we think that we need. But we have to watch the way we treat other people on our way up. Okay. But Mars and Saturn and Mercury are here in this beautiful 2 sextiles and a trine. Okay, so that's a blessing and a whole bunch of cooperation. So these planets are really working together. We can communicate, we can cooperate, and it's all about our own stability and the stability of our community. Look at that little happy face right there. I love that. So we have all this really highly effective functioning available to us right now. Our our Mercury is currently in Cancer and is sextile with Mars and Taurus, so things maybe not as well lubricated as they could be when they were in their home signs. But still, we're able to communicate about the actions that we want to take, and we're also able to really communicate and plan effectively for that stability we seek for ourselves and our communities. And then Mercury is square to Neptune at this time, and that can bring a lot of illusion, but again, Neptune is retrograde, so maybe the struggles we're having are struggles with, sort of waking up to things that we did not want to wake up to, or wish we didn't know, right? Okay, so with all of that said, and I'm just gonna toss these a couple more times because I honestly don't remember how many times I shuffled them while I was talking to you. There we go. Oh, the Two of Swords. Okay, so cups and swords. Cups are about emotion. Swords are about intellect. It's a very Mercury vibe, those thoughts, plans, and communications and how we use them, okay? So, Two of Swords in general speaks to having a choice to make. It also speaks to sort of not knowing what choice to make. There's that whole justice is blind kind of thing. Sometimes, like, you see how these swords are probably equally good swords, but they're different. So, my thinking is that the thoughts, plans, and communications, the two arguments this person is, the two ways this person is about the decision they're trying to make, okay, they're probably equally good, but they have to make a choice, right? And it may not even matter that much which choice we make, but we kind of feel a little bit in a bind because we just don't know which way to go. And that's a very air sign quality. I'm just going to put that out there with you. My wife is a Libra sun, and a lot of the Libra suns I've known can be somewhat indecisive. My wife wants to read the entire menu. Okay, even at the restaurant we've been to several times, right? We just want to know all of our options, and sometimes we kind of stay in this area of stasis of not knowing what we want to do of the two things we're most likely to do, just because we don't feel like we have enough information. So it's okay to ask for more information. Where it relates to this, there might be some indecision coming in with that Mercury square to Neptune, because again, we may be faced with information about something we thought it was one way and it turns out it's another way, and that's really disappointing because somebody was not clear with us, and also probably because the deal is just not what we thought it was. So it's easy to become indecisive at a moment like that. Or do I stay involved in this situation with these people who have either willingly or unwillingly deceived me, or do I cut my losses and get out of here? Um, that's definitely a consideration. Or anything along those lines. When we become undeceived about something, it can be a bit of a shock, and it can leave us a little bit paralyzed. But understand, once again, the clarity isn't always welcome, but it really shows us. And because we're in swords, and we had 10 of swords for a while back there, it really kind of shows us, when we're talking about thoughts, plans, and communications, we learn very easily who it is that we cannot trust. And I always, honestly, personally, I will make the decision that sticks with the plan unless I think there's a better plan, right? So if there are two equal plans, I'm going to stick with the original plan. But also I take into account whether both plans are plans that I trust, or whether both arguments from different people are people and arguments that I trust. Okay, so I'm going to go in the direction of the person or the argument or the plan that has shown me the most possible trustworthiness. Taken together with the Three of Cups, I would say, if you're feeling undecided about something, especially when it comes to a thought, a plan, a communication, that email that you want to write, or that choice you have to take a vacation either in Belize or Costa Rica, whatever it is. If you're feeling undecided about a plan or some idea that you're having, turn to those friends, turn to these people who not only know where you've been, but understand your potential, and kind of know what you would do with such a thing. Okay. There are always people, well, I won't say always. There are often people we can turn to in our lives who know us a little bit better than maybe we'd like to admit, or maybe we really cherish the fact that they know us a lot better. Sometimes they seem to know us even better than ourselves. Okay, so it's good to have a cohort like that to turn to, or if even if you know a group of wise women that you're not necessarily like an integral part of, you can turn to them as well. There's very maiden, mother, and crone vibes here. Okay, so this is just like also a sort of I'm every woman vibe, and we celebrate one another. So find a woman you trust and ask her. Yeah, find somebody that you trust to have your best experience at heart, and perhaps they can bring you out of this sort of balanced but in undecided. It's sort of a balanced limbo is what it is, the Two of Swords. It's really tempting to the air sign, because it feels so balanced, even to be in limbo this way, like not knowing which way to go. That actually feels somewhat balanced when you have two equally good options. So shake it up a little bit. Ask somebody you trust. Ask somebody who knows you a little bit, and perhaps you can glean which of these options will be the better one to make. I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I truly appreciate your presence. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.